guys, it's Timmy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Monday, and that means tonight was Monday Night Raw. As far as tonight's Monday Night Raw does go, I thought it was an actually pretty good show. I thought it was very easy to watch. It flowed very well, and so I can't say like other weeks where I go, didn't feel like a 3-hour show. No, I'm not saying it felt long, but it didn't feel like some of those weeks where I go, man, this show skated along. This show felt like a 2-hour show in 3 hours. This one did feel like a, what you would think, 3-hour show. It did feel like, it was longer than a SmackDown or a Dynamite or something, but it didn't feel long in the sense of in a bad way, if that makes any sense. So overall, I did enjoy Raw tonight. I thought it was a good show, built up towards the Royal Rumble, built up maybe a couple things past Royal Rumble, especially for next week's Monday Night Raw. So in that regard, I thought this Raw did really well. Also didn't realize that going into it, this was the 1600th edition of Raw. 1600th edition of Monday Night Raw. Like, that's just crazy to think. They've done 1600 Raws. Now, I know you can't say that they've done a Raw every week, but if we say they've never missed a week, divided by, it's about right, 30 years. Raw. What was the exact date of the first Monday Night Raw? January 11th, 1993. Got it. Yeah. So, roughly 30 years. Which, why didn't they do a, oh no, they did do a Raw 30th year anniversary. That was last year. Duh, I'm an idiot. I'm thinking of like, what was the 30th anniversary of Raw? That was last year. They did it last year. So with that, we got a lot to talk about. No Luke tonight. He's got school obligations, so I'm going solo. And with that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, just like Esports Gaming Rules 316 just did, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. But Esports Gaming Rules does state, this could be the craziest road to WrestleMania since Punk first left WWE before WrestleMania 30 and Kofi Mania at WrestleMania 35. And I can't wait for WWE 2K24 going to get the cross-gen digital edition on PS4/PS5. Very cool. So you're not going to get the top 40 years of WrestleMania edition. Like, you still get in the digital deluxe, you'll still get the 40 years of WrestleMania showcase, but then you're not going to get all the extra Macho King attire, Triple H WrestleMania 30 attire, Charlotte Flair WrestleMania 33 attire. You won't get all of that stuff, though. Also, if you're digitally pre-ordering WWE 2K24, for some weird reason, they're going to give you 2K23 for free, even if you already have it. Weird. Very weird. I don't understand that one. But they did announce stuff for WWE 2K24 today, and interestingly, not only are we getting the WrestleMania 39 set, but they're actually, it's not just like in the past, you get just, it's the big build. Like when we say you go in to create an arena and you have high school gym, small arena, medium arena, big arena. And big arena is always where you build WrestleMania, where the WrestleMania set is located in the game. Yet, if you look at the videos and screenshots that came out today, they're not just putting the WrestleMania 39 set inside of a just generic big arena. It's actually inside SoFi Stadium in this game. Because if you look up and you see the top of the stadium, that's SoFi Stadium. So that's crazy that they're actually building out SoFi Stadium. Now, I wonder how that's going to be if you're at WrestleMania 39 and you're doing a street fight where you can fight in the crowd or so. I don't know. We're exploring. I don't know. That's going to be cool, though. But it does give a cool vibe of it's like, no, this is the actual stadium. So now, when we get WrestleMania 40, because they also said they will be adding after lunch the WrestleMania 40 stage. That's at Lincoln Financial Field. That's an open football field. So what I want is to be able to go look up with the camera and see the clouds in the sky. See the actual sky. Maybe even the moon. We'll see. I don't know. But we'll see how it all does go. Exact date still not confirmed, but always comes around for WWE 2K24. No, the exact date has been put out. If you get the standard edition, you will get the game on March 8th. If you pre-order the digital deluxe or the 40 years of WrestleMania edition, you will get it 3 days early. You will get it on March 5th. So the date's already out there. They already told us March 8th or 3 days early with early access. So that's the dates. The dates have already been put out there. The dates are known. It's set. It's locked. It's good to go. As far as this Raw does go, Raw itself opened up with cool new little videos. They showed Cody Rhodes and CM Punk arriving at the building. It even said CM Punk got here at 4:45 Central Time. Cody Rhodes got here at 4:31 Central Time. And I'm like, oh, cool. So they're telling us, hey, Punk is here. Cody is here. And they showed up 3 hours before the show, 2.5, 3 hours before the show. And I like that. It's like what they do with real sports. Like when you're watching the NBA or you're watching the NFL and you're watching the pregame show. And it's like, hey, here's Patrick Mahomes walking into the building an hour ago. Hey, here's LeBron James walking into the building 45 minutes ago. So really cool. I do like that. It's a change. It's something different. And WWE's a changing with their new directors and stuff. But then we go into the arena, and it's Seth Rollins making his way out to the ring. And the first thing I said here is, okay, no crutches, that's a good sign. No crutches, that's a good sign. Seth comes out with a knee brace, and he's limping. Seth makes his way out to the ring, and the crowd is chanting, thank you, Seth. Seth is holding back tears. Rollins speaks about beating Jinder Mahal last week, and the fans pop for that. But he also said that he knew exactly when his knee gave out, when he was injured off the springboard moonsault. He said he realized it when he felt his knee go the opposite direction, like in itself or whatever. Some sort of like that. And so he goes, hey, but at least I beat Jinder, and they popped the crowd again. He then mentioned in the past that he always says that with every defense I get stronger, but yet last week I felt like a liar because I didn't get stronger. My knee got injured. I injured my knee and it hurt. I was sitting there in the back, unable to bend my knee, and again, I felt like a liar. Last week, Rollins felt like he said that last week after the match, I felt maybe this is not a good thing. Maybe I'm going to have to miss WrestleMania. The crowd chanted, no. He said, but in the moment, I knew I still had to get evaluated. I knew that a MRI was needed. And I got that in the middle of the week, and we got the results. A grade 2 MCL tear and a partially torn meniscus. Doctors tell me I would be out of action 3 to 4 months with surgery. Now, Seth did not state, I am getting surgery and will be out for 3 to 4 months. He basically said, if I opt for surgery, I'll be out of action 3 to 4 months. He's not, though. At least not now. He said, though, if it was up to me, I'd be out here next week stomping people's heads into the mat. But it's just not what's possible. It's not all just about me. He said, but we don't know what the future holds. And we're taking it day by day, week by week. And then we hear, now comes Gunther and Imperium. Gunther gets into the ring. Imperium stays at ringside, and Seth just goes, all right, I see what this is. If they're going to come and jump me and you guys are going to take me out because I'm weak, just do it now and get it over with. And Gunther goes, no, Seth. Not why I'm out here. I'm out here to talk to you. They crowned you. They've crowned you the workhorse champion, the man that puts the company on his back. And as a champion, I fully respect you. Gunther says that it seems like they've been avoiding each other for quite some time. And the Royal Rumble is coming up, and Gunther plans on winning the Royal Rumble. Then when he does, he will challenge Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Because, well, actually, I got ahead of myself. First, Gunther says, it's a shame to hear you won't be at WrestleMania. And Seth goes, hey, well, if you would have let me finish talking, I would have told you that I'm walking in WrestleMania as the champion and I'm walking out world champion. I'm not missing WrestleMania. And then that's when Gunther went on to say, great, because I plan on winning the Rumble and challenging you. And when I do, I'm going straight for your knee. I'm going straight for that knee that I know is hurt, injured, not 100%, and then I'm taking the title. Gunther told him not to be on edge. We're the same, but I'm better. Gunther says he was happy to hear all of this. Seth kind of was getting annoyed. And then Rollins warned Gunther, remember who you're coming after. And Gunther said, well, remember who's coming after you. And the two actually shook hands. Gunther would get out of the ring. He would go to Giovanni and Ludwig, who would then all of a sudden get attacked by the New Day. Seth would get out of the ring as well. And then during the break, we set up the New Day. And we didn't set it up, but they started the New Day versus Imperium, which was announced earlier in the day. So, a couple things to look at here. A, Seth doesn't need surgery. Because he said, with surgery, I'd be out 3 to 4 months. But my plan is to be at WrestleMania. So it sounds like he's not getting surgery. Now, the big question is, though, is Seth not going to work a match at all until WrestleMania? Is he going to stay off of it till WrestleMania? And you also have to think, what if Seth is rehabbing and has a setback? And then all of a sudden, he can't work Mania? What if like a week, 2, 3 weeks before WrestleMania, Seth Rollins is doing his rehab, Seth Rollins is training, and the knee gives out again? And then the doctors go, no, now you need surgery. So there's risks. And even though, and Seth even said it, we're taking it day by day, week by week. So it's not 1,000%, even 100% that Seth is working Mania, but that is the going plan right now. The plan at this time is Seth working Mania and Seth versus Punk. So how they get to that, we'll have to see, because we don't know who's winning the Rumble, whether it's Punk, whether it's Cody, whether it's Gunther, whether it's somebody else. We don't know. But what we do know is Seth plans on winning or working Mania, and the plan is for him to face Punk. So we come back. We got the New Day versus Imperium already in action. So the match itself went like over 9 minutes, but I don't have an exact time because, again, like I said, it started in the break. So Bobby Kingston makes a hot tag, wipes out his opponents with some suicide dives. Imperium then teamed up on him moments later until Woods made the save. They kept brawling outside until both teams were counted out. They keep brawling outside, though. They said, we don't care. We want to fight each other. There were multiple times when Imperium was about to take out one member of New Day, then the other would come and make the save. This time led to Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods spearing Kaiser and Vinci off of an equipment box through a few tables in the crowd and covered by the production area. So, yeah, this went 9 minutes that we saw, and it ended in a double countout with both teams just destroying each other. Very good action, very good match, but now I want to know, where does this lead to? Is this going to lead to a street fight? Is this going to lead to a cage match where it's like, no, we're going to keep this stuff. You guys can't contain yourselves. We'll contain you in a cage. Because that's what I think they should do. Because, like, we've seen now, okay? You fight in a singles match, you start fighting on the outside, you're throwing chairs at each other. Then you're fighting in the crowd. Then you're dumping each other through tables. Well, if you want to keep this contained, if you want to keep the two teams at bay, you do a cage match. It's just my opinion. Or you say, you guys want to beat the shit out of each other? Street fight. Falls count anywhere. Go. Yet, you would think maybe they'd do that next week, but they're not. Because next week, Kofi will be challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. They already said that. We then got the commercial for 2K24. The same video or whatever you want to say that was posted this morning by 2K in WWE Games. There was then a video package hyping up the main event of the night, Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. This is something we had already seen over the weekend on social media, but a really good video. Well done. Great. Like, hype factor. We go to the back, and if you ever wondered who's the real leader of Judgment Day, we learned it here. It's god dang Rhea Ripley. So Ripley accuses Priest of trying to pick fights with everybody. She then says, I was just at Adam Pearce's office, and you and Finn, you'll be defending those tag team titles next week against DIY. And Priest is like, excuse me? Why are you always setting stuff up for us? Why are you always doing this and that? And da, 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 da. I'm picking fights. You're the one who's doing stuff behind our backs. He's like, you know what? That's next week. I got business tonight. I'm going to go take care of McIntyre. He also says that Rhea needs to check herself because she's got a big head now that she's on the cover of 2K. He said, maybe you shouldn't walk around with such a big head, and maybe you should also stop going to Adam Pearce's office without us and not informing us on what you're doing. Priest would walk away. Ripley looked very perturbed, very mad. And then she told, basically, she's like, I got a big head. And she looks at JD because the joke is JD's got a big head. She then says, okay, don't worry about that. He'll take care of Drew. But JD and Dom, you should have took care of DIY a long time ago. Rather than kind of smirks and smiles and giggles. And she's like, excuse me? Something funny, Finn? He's like, no, it's nothing. It's whatever. And she's like, good. She's like, because tonight, we got to get rid of the Miz. We got to take care of Miz. Dominic, he's going to take care of the Miz. And I want you, Finn, to be out there with JD in Dominic's corner. And Finn's kind of just like, tell me what to do? She's like, and? You've been soft recently. I need to see more aggression, a more vicious side of you. And Finn's kind of looking at her like, oh, you want vicious? You want vicious? All right, you're going to get vicious. And she's like, that's what I like to hear. So it's like, if there is any question on who is the real leader of Judgment Day, it's Rhea Ripley. And like, Priest doesn't quote unquote think that, but Rhea, the way Rhea talks to him, it's like she's talking down to him in a sense of like, okay, I'll make you believe that you have power. I'll make you believe that you can do what you want and this and that, but it's really me pulling all the strings for this group. And we've been saying this for a while. I think it's going to lead to eventually Priest getting kicked out and having a big babyface turn. So in the back, Ivy Nile did a quick interview with Jackie Redmond ahead of her match with Valhalla. Basically, she just said that she's ready for it. Creed Brothers showed up, pumped her up, and then she walks out with Maxine. They showed guitarist Nita Strauss in the front row. That was really cool. This match itself went 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Not much to it at all. Valhalla hit a pop-up headbutt at one point and put her feet. So they're fighting, and they're pretty equal, I would say. Michael Cole's kind of making fun of Valhalla, calling her weird, calling her different, saying that, you know, all these different things. It's weird. He's like talking in a way of not bullying, but he was not talking favorably about Valhalla. Anyways, it's about even. Valhalla then does the pop-up headbutt, and then she tries to go for the pin. But as she's doing it, she's trying to get her feet on the ropes, and her feet aren't getting on the ropes. And then she like kind of gets a foot on the rope. Maxine yells something. The ref's like, hey, get your feet off the ropes. You can't put your feet on the... It was all clunky here. Like, what the hell is going on? So, yeah, this was kind of weird. They then start fighting again. Niall then bounces Valhalla's head off the top turnbuckle in the post. She climbs to the top rope. And I'm like, what is she doing? They're both sitting on the top rope. She's got Valhalla by the head. And she looks out to the crowd and she's like, yeah. And I'm like, what are you about to do? Like an avalanche hurricane rana or something? And then she grabs her and does a bulldog off the top rope. And Michael Cole tells us she calls that the pit bull. And then she pins Valhalla and wins. Way too long of a setup for this. Because they're both sitting on the top rope that felt like for 2 minutes. I know it wasn't because the match itself was only 3. But it felt like they sat up there forever. And she's like, got Valhalla by the head, by the hair or whatever. And Valhalla's just sitting there and she's looking out in the crowd like, yeah. And then she does this bulldog that just looks okay. But yeah, not the best of matches, I will say. Not all that great at all. We go to the back and there's the New Day. And also remember, I forgot to mention, during this last match, Michael Cole stated that both the New Day and Imperium need to be checked out by trainers after what had happened after their match. So, New Day's backstage. Jey Uso appears, and he hands them both bags of ice because they're banged up from, well, the fight, the brawl, the incident. Woods says that they're the best. Jackie Redmond comes up to interview them, and Woods says they're the best tag team that's ever been. The best tag team, especially of the last decade. I mean, he said, we're 12-time tag team champions. Kofi said, people like to overlook us because of the unicorn horns and the rainbows and the pancakes and all that, but no, we're not to be messed with. We're not to be pushed around, and we've now been pushed too far. He goes, oh, but Jay over there says he wants to win gold. Well, I want to win gold too. And next week, I'm challenging Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. The New Day walk off. It looked like the interview's over. Jay then walks up to Jackie real fast, grabs her mic and goes, yeet, and then walks off. Crowd popped when he said, yeet. So then we got Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, and Bayley. This segment was all right. Like, it wasn't great or anything. So, Nia is in the ring. She talks about how she's going to squash both Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch for the first time when she encounters them. She mocks their promo encounter last week, saying, I'm going to face you at WrestleMania, and I'm going to face you at WrestleMania. And she wasn't surprised that they wanted to face each other because they're afraid to face her. She plans on ruining their dreams and winning the Royal Rumble. Lynch then interrupts. She congratulated Jax on beating her and giving her something else to talk about for the next 5 years. Lynch said that Lynch knew that she had a target on her back in the Rumble, but Jax has the biggest target on her back. She says it wasn't because Jax was bigger. It was because, well, nobody likes you. Jax throws her weight around and probably has injured half that locker room in the back. Lynch said that she wasn't sure what she's more happy about, what she wants to enjoy more, winning the Rumble or watching Nia lose. Is when Bayley would then come out. Also, when they were doing the New Day interview backstage, we saw Damage Control walking behind them, and I'm like, whoa, what Damage Control doing here? Really not much of anything. So Bayley interrupts, and she said that you guys are jokes, and you're joking, because I'm going to win the Royal Rumble, you losers. Jax win after Bayley. Bayley then went after Jax, and all three are brawling until Bayley is just knocked out with a manhandle slam. Nia then throws Becky over the top rope and hits Bayley with a leg drop. She then sits on Bayley for a minute while she's looking at Becky and basically shows, hey, Becky, you can be thrown out. You can be tossed over that top rope. So then Michael Cole lets us know, hey, this Saturday is the Royal Rumble. And you know what the Royal Rumble is all about? The numbers. And then we got a numbers video for the Rumble. One of two that we got. They split it up instead of doing it all in one long segment, which I actually thought was a very good idea. You do it two of them. You do one early, one late, and that's more hype for the Rumble. Instead of doing like one 5-minute video early in the show, you do two like 3-minute videos hyping up the Rumble and stats from the Rumble. Backstage, Becky Lynch bumps into Rhea Ripley. And I couldn't really tell what they were saying because the crowd noise was turned up too loud. But basically, she was just like, yeah, you may want to find some alternate plans for WrestleMania. Because that's what it seemed like. She advised Becky to find alternate WrestleMania plans. Like, she doesn't think Becky can win the Rumble after the way Becky was just easily thrown out by Nia. So we get Dominic Mysterio, or Dominic Mysterio, against The Miz. And if you didn't get that joke, which I know a lot of people didn't get it before, they basically told us what the joke is. So they showed us a video. No, I think this was earlier too. They showed us a video of The Miz and Truth talking, and Truth's like, "Hey, you know, Miz, you got that match later. Don't tag me in. I can't fight the Judgment Day." And Miz is like, "It's not a tag match. It's a singles match. I'm just fighting Dominic." And he's like, "Oh, so you don't want me out there?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Well, you may need some help. You got to watch out for them Mysterio boys." And he's like, "Mysterio boys? There's only one of them." He goes, "No, Tom and Nick. And then Miz goes, truth. You know he's one person. It's not Tom and Nick. It's Dominic. And Truth's like, oh, you just haven't met Tom and Nick. And I'm like, okay. They finally explained the joke. Because I've saw people on Twitter going, I don't understand this. I don't get it. Tom and Nick. Instead of saying Dominic, he says Tom and Nick, thinking they're two people for some reason. I don't understand it. I get the joke. I think it's funny. But it's like, there's two of them. What? So does he think Dominic, Dom is Tom, and maybe JD is Nick? Dom and Nick? Dom and Tim and Dom? Now I just lost it. Tim and Nick? Anyways. Yeah. Tom and Nick. We'll see how it goes. The big give it says, I get it now. Two people. Yeah, exactly. He thinks Dominic means Tom and Nick. So as far as this match does go, went 9.5 minutes. Balor gave Miz a cheap shot early on, and Dom took control after hitting a suicide dive and a slingshot senton. Miz fought back after a break and dropkicked Balor into the announce table. He also wiped out he also wiped out McDonough, not McIntyre. I don't know why I wrote McIntyre. McDonough before hitting Dom with a springboard crossbody for a 2. Miz at one point avoided a 619, but the referee was distracted by McDonough, allowing Balor to kick Miz in the head. I guess that's his vicious side. Well, I mean, he also attacked him after the match, but Dom hits a 619, frog splash, and pins him to pick up the victory. Then, Balor attacks Miz post-match. DIY comes out to make the save. Dom saved McDonough from eating a skull-crushing finale. Yeah, just more of the same kind of with this. But DIY will be getting a tag title shot next week on Raw. Also, remember, guys, if you want to get your comments, questions, or concerns read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat on the YouTube live chat or donating some bits on Twitch. So Jackie Redmond interviews Damian Priest. Priest congratulated Dom on his win. And then all of a sudden, R-Truth walks up and is like, hey, I got you cut from the T-shirts. And Priest is like, cool. Yeah, I'm a little busy right now. I got some serious things to talk about. And Truth goes, oh, you're busy. Okay, talk to you later. Bye. And he just dips out. And I'm like, okay. So Priest moves on and says he's going to talk about McIntyre. He said McIntyre was the man when everybody was struggling. But when everyone got back to 100%, he couldn't beat Roman. He couldn't beat Gunther. He couldn't beat Seth. Now, out of jealousy, he's trying to prevent Priest from cashing in. Priest says that he would give McIntyre his punishment tonight. Bronson Reed then cut a promo saying, so Jey Uso wants to win gold. Well, you know I want to win gold too. So I want to fight Jey next week on Raw. And that match did officially get announced. This then leads to an 11-minute match between Ivar and Chad Gable. And this was really, really, really good until the finish. Ivar suplexed Gable out of the ring and hit a splash off the apron. Immediately after a break, Gable hit an exploder suplex off the top rope, which was crazy. Ivar responded later with a set-out powerbomb and got a near fall off of it. Gable applied an ankle lock with Ivar in the middle of the ring, and they really played it up like Ivar was going to tap out, but Ivar rolled over and kicked off Gable. Ivar then followed this up with a diving leg drop off the middle rope. Ivar tried a spin kick, but Gable countered into an ankle lock, and then Ivar got a rope break. Ivar came right back and hit a sit-out spine buster for a 2. Ivar then went for the moonsault, but Gable rolled out of the way and hit a bridging German suplex into the corner, or into a cover for a 2. Crowd ate that up. There was then another insane spot where Ivar set up Gable for a superplex, but Gable slipped out from behind him in a German suplex off the middle rope. Crowd popped again. Gable then went up for a moonsault, but Valhalla suddenly appeared and screamed in his face. This distraction was just enough for Ivar to slam Gable, hit the moonsault, and pin him to pick up the victory. So, tremendous match between these two, only to be hampered at the end with the Valhalla stuff. It's like, and she didn't touch him, so you can't say, well, where's the DQ or anything. She just kind of got in his face. It was whatever. I feel like it was a flat finish, but what they did, what they do. What wasn't flat, what was awesome, Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. This was great. Both men come down to the ring. Rhodes entered and received a good reaction. Punk came out, bigger reaction. Rhodes and Punk shook hands. Chants for Punk were followed by chants for Cody. Punk thought that they should take time to enjoy this moment. They've both taken very different paths to get here and still hoped that they were friends on Sunday morning. Rhodes asked Punk what he wanted to talk about. Punk wants to talk about Cody's dad. He said, in 2007, I got a call from Dusty Rhodes. He said, I'm sending my youngest son to OVW to start his journey as a professional wrestler, and I want you to keep an eye on him. Punk said that, well, he didn't really feel like he was the right guy for that job. When the American Dream asks you for a favor, you say yes, no matter what. Punk said it was an easy job, wasn't hard at all, because Cody stayed out of his way and didn't fall into the same vicious cycle that many others had. Rhodes went from being an opening match wrestler to a main event caliber star. He said it may sound condescending coming from him, but he's proud of Cody. However, the Royal Rumble, it might feel like Punk is breaking that promise. He won't be looking out for Rhodes. He will be looking for Rhodes to eliminate him. He will throw Rhodes out of the ring to get his main event at WrestleMania. Rhodes then takes the mic and says that he has the same feeling, and Punk wasn't feeling the same, or Punk's feelings weren't. I wrote this weird, but he basically said Punk's not feeling any different than he is. He said the feeling is that when people saw him, they saw Dusty's son. Cody said there was a very large shadow, but he wanted to be the light in the shadow, and he wanted to subvert expectations and be his own man. Rhodes said when he showed up at OVW as a complete, he said he showed up at OVW as a complete nepotism hire with no experience. Punk wrestled on the Indies for 10 years and could have treated him poorly, but he didn't. Punk treated him like a peer, and they became best of friends. That's what made this bittersweet, because there were no friends in the Royal Rumble. Punk then goes, what about Sunday morning, Cody? Punk knew that there were no friends in the Rumble. He's been in more than Cody. He said, quote, I can separate business from personal, but can you? Punk said Rhodes grew up in this business. Personal, to him, was the business. Punk says, I didn't have a famous father. Well, Cody started his career standing on third base. Well, Punk knew that it was going to be harder for him. Punk knew that he would be a burden for Cody to overcome, and that he has done that with flying colors. Punk said, my dad was just a regular blue-collar guy, an electrician, which is ironic. Punk said, quote, I'm more of an American dream than you are. Rhodes then says, you want to talk about something? Let's talk about your pipe bomb. Rhodes said that Punk rattled off the formula for a revolution, and many entered this business because of that and followed those plans. Rhodes himself was inspired by it, but then Punk left. Punk didn't leave the right way. He didn't pass the torch. He dropped it on his way out. Cody said, and you know who picked up that torch? I did. He said, quote, everything you spoke about, I literally did it. Where you talked, I walked. That makes me more CM Punk than you. Punk takes off his jacket and goes, oh, you think you're more CM Punk than me? Punk said Rhodes has carried this company on his back for a soul-crushing 2 years. He was so close to the finish line, but there was always something in the way. There was a superstar who has been around for a very long time. He goes, and I'm talking about me. Because some thought he was talking about Rock. Rosen says that he only has one direction to go through, and that's forward. Go through Punk at the Royal Rumble. Rhodes left, bumped Punk's shoulder, so Punk grabbed him, and they went face to face, nose to nose. And I said, fuck everything else. Give me this match at WrestleMania in the main event. Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk in the main event of WrestleMania. And make it the night 2 main event, because that's the real main event, the more important main event. Yeah. God, this was great. This was so awesome. And now this leads to, what are they doing at the Rumble? Are we getting like Punk and... So here's super silly fantasy booking. Couple things. We're getting a double finish, 2 winners. Are they both going to dump each other at the same time? They're going to fall out of the ring and then both feet hit at the same time, this and that, and then boom. 2 winners? Could they be the final 2? And then we forget, oh, number 30 hasn't come out yet. And then we start counting down. And then all of a sudden, if you smell what the Rock is cooking. Could that happen? I don't remember. When was the last time that the number 30 hadn't come out yet and there was less than 2 people, or 2 or less people still in the ring? I don't remember the last time they've done that, where like they clear the ring and there's still the number 30 to come out. Like, I don't think it's ever happened. There's only 1 person left in the ring at number 30, and I could be wrong on that. And I'm pretty sure there's never been just 2. Because I always feel like number 30 comes out when there's still the pack of everybody in there. How interesting would it be if Cody and Punk are working together to eliminate everybody, and then they just realize it's just you and me, bud. And then all of a sudden we hear 10, 9, and they go, oh, there's 1 more person. Crap. And then someone comes out. Maybe it's Rock, maybe somebody else. I don't know. That'd be an interesting way to go. But in the end, I think Tambuck is still the betting odds favorite, and Cody is still number 2. Because we did betting odds video last week where Punk and Cody were the top 2. It was Punk, Cody, Gunther. Actually, I have it written down right here. Give me 2 seconds to flip this page over. Yeah, so the favorites as of last week. Punk was the favorite at number 1. Cody Rhodes number 2. Gunther number 3. Orton number 4. And number 5 was a tie between The Rock and LA Knight. Yeah. So yeah, great segment. Awesome segment. Loved it. Then we get a video. Hulk Hogan. And this ain't some, oh, we took old footage and spliced it together. No. It's not like they usually do for their documentaries and stuff. This is new footage they recently filmed. And Hogan's over here talking about the success of WrestleMania and the success of Hulk Hogan and the success of the Royal Rumble, and saying Cody can win the Rumble. Maybe Punk can win the Rumble and this and that. And then he goes, but you never know what could happen and who could show up. Maybe I got 1 more left in me. And I go, oh my God. They just teased Hulk Hogan coming back for 1 more Royal Rumble match. No, they did not. Because here's my thing. I don't even think, like, Hogan can get in the ring. I don't think there's any way they can throw him over the top rope. They literally couldn't eliminate him. He literally couldn't be eliminated. Unless somebody like, I don't know, who's the strongest in WWE right now? I don't even know. But like maybe one strong guy or a couple of guys pick Hogan up, throw him out over the top rope, because he ain't just tumbling over the top rope like everybody else. And then he falls on a bunch of pillows. That's the only way you're eliminating Hogan from Rumble. But Hogan, like I said, maybe I got 1 more left in me. And fans online thought that meant 1 more run. But I think he just meant 1 more Rumble. Now the big question is, oh my God, are they bringing back Hogan? Because then they start plugging new Hogan merch. The 40 years of Hulkamania merch. So it's like, oh my God. They're really hyping up Hogan for something. Hopefully it's nothing. But if Hogan shows back up on television, especially if he's going to work a match, if he's at the Rumble, in the Rumble, whatever, the internet's going to melt and they're going to be pissed. We saw last week after some comments about Hogan's title reign length. People going, well, I don't like Hogan. Hogan's this, Hogan's that, Hogan sucks. And I'm not defending Hogan here or anything, but I'm just like, I don't think WWE could still be around in 2023, 2024 without Hogan, if Hogan was never Hogan. But I don't think this company is, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think this company is at all what it is today without Hulk Hogan and his success in the 80s. That's just my opinion. Everyone's like, you erase everything Hogan did. As a person, we learned he's not that great of a person. But as a wrestler, as a celebrity on television in the 80s with WWE and MTV and all that other stuff, he did wonders for this business. that I don't know. Like, who else could have been in that spot? Who could have been in that position? Piper was the heel. Warrior came too late. I'm trying to think who were the other baby faces that could have been that top tier guy like Hogan. I just don't know. Moving forward, we had tag team action. It was Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. This went through an early break. Give me 1 second. My notes just froze. Trying to scroll, and my notes froze. Here we go. Give me 1 second. Okay. So went through an early break. Starks knocked Hartwell out of the ring and made a blind tag. LeRae then reversed Baszler's careful to clutch into a cradle, but didn't realize that the tag had been made, so Starks hit the Z360 to pick up the victory. Also, I forgot to write it down, but there was also a cool spot where Candice gets tagged in, Indy grabs her hand, she walks the ropes, then jumps off the ropes. Shayna's on the apron and she does a Hurricane Rana. That was really cool. Starks and Baszler then face off. They go face to face in the ring with Kayden Carter and Katana Chance, the tag team champions. When they're like, yeah, we're going to come for your belts. We're going to come for your belts. And then boom, they're attacked by the Kabuki Warriors. Kabuki Warriors are there with Dakota Kai, and they stand tall over the champs, who they will be facing for the titles this Friday. I almost said Saturday. Friday on SmackDown. So we go to the back. Jackie Redmond's interviewing Drew McIntyre. She asks about Punk and Cody, and he goes, I don't care about them at all. They're not my focus right now. And you talk about Priest. He reminded Priest that he beat all kinds of big names when he was the guy. Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, AJ Styles. He said that was the most proud that he's been in his career. Because people, because people were there for him. And he was there for them. He was the one constant in their lives. McIntyre was tired of everybody saying that they had a destiny or a story to fulfill. Everyone's just saying the same thing. But what they can't say, unlike me, there's only one chosen one. Basically, it was like, everyone's got, quote unquote, a story. Yet I'm the only one to say I was the chosen one. So I like that. I'm kind of getting tired of it. I said it last week. You know, everyone's got, I got to finish my story. I got my story. I got my story. I got my story. And it's like, so everybody's got a story now. It's not just Cody saying it. It's getting a little old. It's getting a little overdone. And then the freaking 2K thing. Finish your story. So we go to the back. And Bailey's there with the rest of Damage Control minus EO. And Natalia walks up. She's like, what are you guys doing here? You guys need to be here. And they start arguing or whatever. And they're like, oh, we'll just see you at the Rumble. And then Pierce comes in and he's like, hey, enough of this. Also, Bailey, I invited you guys here to build up the Rumble and build up the tag title shot on Friday. So you go into business for yourself? What was all that? And Dakota's like, it's all good. You have any problems with what we did? Take it up with Nick Aldis. Pierce goes, I'd try to, but I got to pry that guy away from looking at himself in the mirror first. Bailey said that Asuka and Sane are going to win the tag titles, and she is going to win the Rumble. And then Pierce is going to see a lot more of them after all that happens, because then they can be on Raw. Basically, she's saying, if they got the tag titles, they're on both shows. If I win the Rumble, I'm challenging Rhea, so I'm here on Raw. After they left, Jinder and Indu Sure would approach Pierce. He was like, hey, I want to talk to you about your plans for me in 2024. The most talked about superstar in all of 2024. The man that is responsible for injuring your world champion. And Pierce is like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'll see you in my office. They all walk off and he goes, I need a drink. Everything goes, well, if you need a drink, you're in the best city for that, Cole. We then got the second video for the Royal Rumble hype up and the numbers. And they ran down the card for the Royal Rumble before telling us what's coming up next week on Monday Night Raw. We do know that Jey Uso will go one-on-one with Bronson Reed. The tag titles will be on the line when Finn Balor and Damian Priest defend against Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And Gunther will defend the Intercontinental Championship against Kofi Kingston. So with that, before we do get into talking about the main event, I do got to tell you that this podcast is brought to you by Upscale Bling. Let's hear about them now. Are you looking to up your accessory game? Why not do so with Upscale Bling? Upscale Bling is your source for in-style chains, watches, rings, and many more awesome products to level up your wardrobe. Not only are their products high quality, but they're also affordable. Don't take just my word for it. Go check them out right now at blingupscale.com. Head over to blingupscale.com right now and use code PWUNLIMITED at checkout to get 20% off your entire order. Again, that's code PWUNLIMITED at checkout for 20% off at blingupscale.com. Check it out today. Moving forward, main event goes about a little over 13 minutes. And I like this match. This was a very, very fun match. Well, I'm going to say it's similar to the Chad Gable Ivar match. Super fun, really good, great match until the finish. Priest was the aggressor early on, but he tried leaping off the steel steps, and McIntyre caught him with a suplex. McIntyre tried another suplex outside the ring, but Priest shoved him into the ring post and hit a Falcon Arrow on the announce desk. Priest remained on the offense after a break until they dropped each other with some big boots. McIntyre fired back with a clothesline, an overhead suplex, and a neck breaker. Priest avoided a Claymore kick, but McIntyre followed this up with a spine buster. He went for the pin and got a 2 off of it. Priest then hit a flatliner for a 2. They traded counters until Priest hit another Falcon Arrow for another 2. McIntyre went to the outside while selling his ribs, and Priest dropped him with a flip dive. Truth then showed up and was like, "Hey, I got your money for you." And Priest is like, "Truth, I'm busy. Go." And he shoves Truth away. And Truth's like, my bad. Oh, maybe I'll put it in the briefcase. Put it in his briefcase. And so he tries putting the money in the big briefcase, and he tells Michael Cole, "I don't got the password. Can't get in. It's locked." This distraction leads to McIntyre hitting a Future Shock DDT. McIntyre was setting up for a Claymore at one point, and it decked Truth, because Truth had gotten in the ring trying to ask for the code to get into the briefcase, and the money goes flying everywhere. Referee is dealing with Truth as Priest hits McIntyre with a South of Heaven chokeslam and goes to pin him, but there's no referee because referee is dealing with Truth, telling Truth, "Hey, you need to get out of the ring and you need to pick up all this money." Priest then goes over and is like, "Truth, get out of here. Ref, pay attention." He turns around, Claymore to the face. Drew pins him 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Drew gets the victory, and Truth once again screws up. But it's like, this match was so good until the Truth stuff, to where the point of like, I love R-Truth. I think R-Truth is fantastic. But maybe they're going a little too far with this stuff now. Like, I don't hate it, but I don't think this was needed. I really don't. Once he like shoved him, and then maybe he could have jumped up on the apron really fast and would have been like, "What's your code? What's your password?" But he didn't need to get in the ring. They didn't need to do the thing where he throws the money. None of that. And I thought it just did a little too much. But regardless, overall, I thought it was a really good show. Good main event until the finish. And yeah, that was Monday Night Raw. A very good episode of Raw. A good, what's the word I'm looking for? A good go-home show for the Royal Rumble. And we built stuff up not just for the Rumble, but for next week's show as well. But my whole thing is, we only have 4 matches set for the Rumble. The 2 Rumble matches and the 2 title matches. The Universal title and the U.S. title. Also with the Rumble, not many people previously announced. We got like 5 or 6 for the men's and 4 for the women. Now I like, how do I explain this? I like when you don't announce everybody, because then it's like, ooh, who could show up? Who could show up? But I like when they announce like half at least. And then you go, oh, that guy's in the Rumble. Okay, I'll see how far he goes. Oh, so-and-so's in the Rumble. I can see how far he goes. So, yeah, I don't know why they're not announcing so many or so little, why they're announcing so little. Excuse me. But we'll see how it goes. With that, you know what I thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's show. Remember, you can go vote in the polls. Polls at the top of the chat in Twitch. Polls top of the chat in YouTube. And while you guys do that, we'll refresh all these other polls. As far as the X poll does go, 69% liked the show, 23% thought it was just all right, and 7% didn't like it. Looking at the YouTube community poll, if it'll actually refresh, 80% liked the show, 16% thought it was just all right, and 4% didn't like it. Some of the comments here says, been watching for 20 plus years. Best programming it's been in a long time. Very true. First says, great show. Multiple storylines are being set up. This person says, it was funny and great watch this tonight's show. And then this person called it mid. Looks like nobody voted on the Twitch poll. And then looking at the YouTube live poll, 87% liked the show, 10% thought it was just all right, and 4% didn't like it. With that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, we'll be back on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. Then we got SmackDown on Friday and the Royal Rumble this Saturday. With that, guys, have a great rest of your night. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.